Welcome back. Of course, from being the first capital city of Kenya to now a county, Machakos County is an administrative county that constitutes 8 constituencies. And of course, it is well endowed with natural capital, including livestock. We're talking about minerals, tourist attraction sites, and of course, shelters the Konza Techno City that is actually being built. One man has been privileged by the people of Machakos to actually be the senator. We're talking about Honorable Johnstone Muthama. Welcome to the Powerbreakfast show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes,
Totally appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much indeed. Perhaps you could tell us, how has it been? How would you rate your leadership so far? It's been a couple of 3 months now.
I want to start by saying that as a senator, I join other senators who are with me in the Senate House to express my disappointment and the disappointment of other senators because the mandate that was given to us by the Constitution has been curtailed through unexplainable ways or means. And the reason I'm saying that is we are not implementers, we as senators, but we are policymakers. And we are the protectors of the counties. So up to now, we are still struggling, trying to get into a certain level where we can now be able to deliver what the Constitution mandates us to deliver. So rating my performance and the performance of my colleagues, I want to say it is yet to take off.
What are the shortcomings? What do you see? What is the problem? Why can't you do what's supposed to do?
One, starting with the problems, not the problem, but problems.
Yes.
One of them has just emerged through the revenue division of allocation, or the allocation of revenue. The mandate of the Senate is to make sure that the revenue collected by the government, a certain mandated given percentage is given to the counties. And we are now working on the recommendations that was given by Cheseremu's commission, which was between 30 and 35%. And looking at the revenue that was collected now with estimates and taking that percentage, what was to go to the counties was 258 billion shillings. What had been proposed by the executive was 154 billion shillings, with 20 billion shillings being the conditional grant allocation, which will be allocated by the government on certain specific projects. That gives it to 174 billion shillings. When that was brought to the floor of the House, of the Senate, we went according to the Constitution and asked the government to allocate 258 billion. Instead, it was improved to 198 billion shillings. Then it went to Parliament and it went to 210 billion shillings. In actual fact, what the government has been giving before to the same areas which are converted to counties now was 190 billion shillings, which was for the recurrent expenditure. If you take that now and spread it to the counties, and a good example is my county, Machakos, which is getting 4.8 billion shillings. The current expenditure in the county of Machakos will be 4.2 billion shillings. That leaves a balance of close to 600 million shillings to be now used to develop the county. If you look at the 8 constituencies and allocate the 600 million shillings, each constituency is getting close to 60 million shillings. That money is less than what I got as an MP in the 10th Parliament through CDF, which was 115 million shillings. So looking at that, the devolution is actually being given by the name and the face to Kenyans. But in terms of actuals and what needs to be done is not there. The bill has come on the floor of the House. It came yesterday. And now we are debating it. The numbers which are printed now is 198 billion shillings, which now it is just a current expenditure. So that is one big disappointment, because that is the role that should be played by the Senate, where I belong.
When you ask the other,
so when I look at the budget that was done by my count, it has a deficit of close to 3.5 billion shillings. The collections of revenue within my count, which was there before the devolution and handing over the institutions to the count, was 3 million shillings per month, which gives a total of 36 million shillings per year. So the budget that was done, it will not be possible to meet it.
You see,
when we asked yesterday the cabinet secretary for devolution, she said we are supposed to get only 15%. The constitution says counties get minimum 15%, but now you've got 32%. And I asked the same questions, whether there are counties that are getting less than what you were getting before.
Now you can see the mandate she is taking, that the cabinet secretary in the ministry in charge of devolution, is not a mandate. That is vested by the constitution on the commission of Chesaram. That is the commission that should determine what should go to the counties, not the cabinet secretary. The problem with the Kenyans and those who get to be appointed in office, they are still driven with power. And once position is given, the person does not have limitations on the areas where he or she should stretch up to. The mandate is, according to the constitution, is with Mika Chesaram's commission to determine on what should be allocated to the counties.
And he has
done so.
So what's the problem?
It has not been fulfilled. In fact, even the 210 that was proposed by National Assembly, reducing it from 258, has never been met. We are much lower than 210 now. And 210 was to leave a balance of 12 billion shillings from 198. 210 is 12 billion shillings. What development can you initiate in the Republic of Kenya within 47 counties with 12 billion shillings? Question.
Right, of course, problems and challenges will always be there. But then the question is, what are you doing to enhance the relationship between the Senate and the National Assembly so that we serve and make sure that devolution becomes a reality in this country?
The Senate is being faced one major challenge. The three institutions now, starting with the executive, has money to protect. The money that the executive is spending, they need to be in control. National Assembly is trying to access the CDF funds. Senate has no money to spend, and we don't want it. We want to remain to be the people's watchman. So we have no issues whatsoever with the National Assembly. All what we are saying is this: allow us to do our work, which is to make sure that the allocations are done properly and according to the recommendations of Machakos. But now the way it is being blown out there to the public is that there is a fight on supremacy and who is senior than the other person. That is not the business of the Senate, and we have never tried to do that. And we have gone to Supreme Court, actually, to seek for the advisory of the Constitution, and the Supreme Court should come out and give that advisory on who should be doing what. We want to operate within our mandate. We don't want money to come to our side. We don't want to be given any money. We don't want to implement any projects, but we want to supervise the allocation to make sure that the counties get what they deserve.
Perhaps just to focus on the man, Johnstone Muthama, of course, comments are coming in. Jeremiah Mutua from Makueni County says, Senator Muthama, you command great respect in our region, and we pray that Ukambani will have 20 great men and women like you take us there despite the million difficulties. But I was a bit concerned when I was just doing a bit of research on you, and on social media and different platforms. There are those who have termed you as a loose cannon. In fact, there's a Facebook page titled, Arrest Muthama Now and Charge Him Before Kenya Burns. What do you say? What do you have to say about that?
Let me start by saying freedom of speech and opinion is allowed by the Constitution. The good and acceptable leaders are the ones who does not criticize criticism, but they offer themselves in a very open manner to explain and give justification. Those who get annoyed and, bring up their tempers up because they are being challenged, I want to say they are not leaders. In politics, and where I am today, in the opposition, many people would not want to like me. Those who are on the other side of the opposite, let me say, coalition. And when I talk about issues that affects the country, some people, they take it like, actually, I'm accusing a person. They forget that I'm a leader, and I've been given the mandate by the Constitution to apply checks and balances. So when I raise issues to do with a certain leader or a certain leadership, they take it personal. I want to tell them this. This is not about Muthama. That's their opinion. And what I say is not about Muthama. It's about the country. I will accept some criticism if I will be a tribalistic person, or if I will be a corrupt person, or if I will be an insider. I will say yes. But in all my speeches, I've never been a tribalistic person. And in all my operations, I've never been a corrupt person.
Yeah, just to bring to you a couple of reports. For instance, 12th of July Standard. Yet a member of Parliament, Francis Mwangangi, recently cautioned you against your persistent attacks to other elected leaders in the area. Of course, he said you were showing disrespect and mocking other elected leaders in the county by attacking them publicly for no apparent reason.
I don't want to respond to the MP's allegations, But in general, I can say this. In 10th Parliament, be the chief whip of the coalition that was leading this country under President Kibaki, I went against certain policies. I came out to say I will pay the taxes when the president himself was not paying. I was questioned, why are you doing this against 200 plus? And I said, that is my decision as a leader. And in most cases, leaders, when they make their decisions, they make the decision that will actually be accepted by the people they are leading. So the issue to do with Machakos count is not a tax. I raised the following questions, which I will raise now. When the governor of Machakos was elected, he bought 14 second-hand Subarus.
Dr.
Brought them to the count without following the Public Procurement Act. If I cannot stand and defend that, then I'm just another elected person who is just carrying people's faults, but to benefit himself. The other thing I raised was the many trips that have been made by the governor, his county assembly members, and executive members. They have been to Mombasa more than 5 times. They have been to Masai Mara more than 3 times. Now they have made a trip to South Africa. 40 plus the governor and his head. Oh, what I'm saying is this. Not only to Machakos count, the other day, the members of PSC, Parliament Service Commission, they had proposed a trip to China to go and do window shopping for the furnitures of the. And I came out and I said, you tried to do this, Muthama and the rest of Kenyans will be against you. That trip was cancelled. So what I'm saying is this. There are needs in Machakos. And today, I want to refer you to something that is in the Standard today. Mika Chisaram, toward Kitui Count, he went to a place called Ikutha. And he found children who are tracking a distance of 14 kilometers to come to school. And they are reading, actually, under the trees, with no food, no water, no shelter whatsoever. Mika Chisaram cried. What I'm saying is this. That's just a test case in Kitui. In Machakos count, you have hundreds of cases like that. So what I'm saying is this. If truly we are leaders, we should not think of spending 20, 30 million shillings traveling to South Africa and learn about the evolution on how to work on the counties and implement the projects in the counties, and yet you haven't even seen the money. You first of all take care of what you have, that little you have. You go around and see the need serious cases that affects sick people where they need dispensaries. That man can put up 3 good health centers. That money that was spent going to South Africa can build 20 classrooms. That money can do a lot of things. So these are the issues I'm criticizing, and I will never stop doing that. In my 5 years in Parliament, I've never pocketed a coin of my salary. After paying the taxes to the government, the balance I used to educate children of the poor people in Kangondo and other areas. That is my commitment. And if I can do that with my own money, please, my brothers, how do you expect me now to support an expenditure of 500 shillings when it's not helping someone, but is just giving lavish life to someone?
Can you have an opportunity of having a discourse or a dialogue with the county government, so that instead of those complaints being perpetrated, you stop them.
Absolutely. In fact, this is a concern from Bishop Kioko. Says Machakos County is disappointed to see and hear our Senator Honorable Muthama attacking and not supporting Governor Mutua. Why is it difficult to sit as leaders and agree the way forward?
You know, what they call attacks, I don't know what it is. Because even the bishop himself, he is a preacher. And when he preaches about two different ways. And he says, on the left side is the way to the devil. If you don't stop doing 1, 2, 3, you never see the kingdom of God. And he says that candidly. Then he says on the right side, if you want to go to everlasting life, you must not go to the left side. And if you go on the right side, you'll see the kingdom of God. The bishop says that I'm a public servant. I cannot be doing certain things in the boardroom because if anything goes wrong, then the issues will be, why did you not raise these issues before? In Machakos County, we have people who live in Nairobi. They fought in Nairobi. They are not voters in Machakos. They have been given the executive work, the executive secretaries of the Machakos County by the governor. According to the constitution, whatever is happening in Machakos, the money sent to Machakos is to benefit the residents of Machakos who live there. It doesn't matter what color, what religion, but as long as you are a resident of that count and a foreign count, you deserve to be given the first priority to join the cabinet secretary, but not a person who lives in Nairobi. We have senior staff who have been employed from outside Machakos County. My issue is this: I'm the custodian of the interests of Machakos people. I must stand and defend that position. And I cannot do it in the boardroom. Because if I do it in the boardroom, the public will never get to know where they stand and where wrong things are going.
Those people you're saying are appointed from outside Machakos. Are they qualified? Can they deliver the goods?
You know, qualification and qualification, being qualified and not being qualified. Yes.
Because if the interviews,
it's a secondary thing.
Jobs were advertised and interviews were done, and then the people qualified. But we had the same problem in Nyeri, where the county people were refused just because they were not from Nyeri, which I think is not proper. Those are Kenyans.
Those are Kenyans, but the issue of devolution, I want you to understand this, was now to pool the power of resource distribution and take it to the people themselves. The government has the authority to employ and post those people in all corners of the country. But the governor and his team must concentrate on the issues to do with the county. It should not be stretched beyond that. Look at Africa. Africa is one. You are not restricted from working in Tanzania or Ghana or in Nigeria, provided you have the qualifications. But there are jobs which cannot be offered to foreigners because Kenyans are here. A camera, a video camera, like this one here. How do you get someone from Ghana to come and make him a video camera man when actually we have our young people here who can do that job? We are saying let the job that cannot be done by the local people, Kenyans, be given to foreigners, so that Kenyans can train those people. Then you drop that level to the counties also.
Perhaps in relation to that, just last month, a team of Asian MPs actually gave a statement on some racist comments that you made. You allegedly made the remarks when Machakos County Governor appointed Kumar Dar to the county's executive committee.
I made that comment, but it's not the way it was being taken. First of all, I did not even know the name of that person. Secondly, those who raised that issue could have listened to those who addressed me, because they addressed me on the same basis, and they referred to the same person as an Indian. And there is nothing wrong being in India and being referred as an African. Hey, excuse me. I would be proud of being referred to as an African. If I speak English and I live in America, you cannot call me a white American. Those who are in America, we call them black Americans. So what I said is the Indian you are talking about. I want to find out whether he's a resident of Machakos and whether he's a registered voter in Machakos. That's all. If I knew his name.
But is he qualified?
If I knew his name, I could have mentioned his name. But I didn't know the name. And those who addressed to me about him, they never mentioned a name. And I did not want to go into interviewing people and asking about names.
Maybe was of the people who were interviewed for that job, he was the most qualified, regardless of whether he is Indian, black, white, yellow.
But remember what I said about the devolution. Remember what I said about, and as a protector of the interests of the Machakos County.
Maybe we misunderstand devolution. Devolution does not mean we become, we imagine we do a country like kingdoms, that Machakos kingdom, nobody else from Machakos can work in Machakos. That's not the way it is supposed to be.
That is, what I'm saying is this. Listen to what I'm saying. The count is not employing on this. No. This is an appointment position which needs to serve the interest of the local people.
Will that person not work for the interest of those people?
It is
not. If he's an Indian, he's not going to work for Indians.
Even forget about the name of the Indian. Say a resident of Nairobi.
Yes.
Who votes in Nairobi and resides in Nairobi.
Yes.
What business does he have to offer? I mean,
because he's qualified to do that job in Machakos.
It is.
And he can drive to Machakos.
So
just as many people drive from Thika to come and work in Nairobi.
But all what you are saying is that the only qualified person in the Republic of Kenya to do that job, even in Machakos County.
When they were interviewed, he was the topmost.
The interviews never took place. That's another issue. According to even the Constitution, you are supposed to have those names presented to the County Assembly and be debated the way it was done in the National Assembly, the way it was done in all counties. Machakos, that never happened. That is another issue. And that is actually a matter subject to investigations. Yeah, and I'm working on that to launch that.
Yeah, perhaps as we wind up, just looking at the goodwill of the people, because just recently women from Makueni County actually took to the streets to demand an apology from you. They alleged that you had used abusive language during one of the CORD rallies in the area.
Let me say this. As I said, if you look at the group that demonstrated, it's a group that is allied to a certain politician. And their perception is that Muthama is too powerful. Muthama is controlling issues. Muthama is supporting Kalonzo. Muthama is in code. We have to reduce his credibility. We have to dirty his name. So we go to the streets and say, he abused a certain person. Let me say this for tech, and you can put it in your bank account if you may so wish. I'm a Christian, and I'm a politician with a clear sense of mind who cannot say such things. It is just the way I say it in Makueni, a slogan of mine in politics, which I said, the attribution, and those who translated that came and said, oh, Muthama says, if Uhuru and Ruto, they are locked at ICC, now it will be time for Kalonzo to lead the country. You see, that was a translation of a person who wanted to be paid. In this meeting, I used the same slogan. What? And truly, I say this.
To mean what?
Because, I mean, if I may just quote what was written, it's actually, you can find it, 3rd of July Standard. This is according to the Makueni Women Regional Assembly convener, Rhoda Maende. She said that you said in Kikamba, there is a woman here, Sionthita, who does not know how to strengthen her dress while standing up. She wakes up with her buttocks exposed in front of men.
Let me say
That's
this.
in public.
Let me say this. When you talk about behavior, yeah, even preachers, they preach and they say there are men who just go drinking. They don't care about their families. I liken them with hyenas. Why that pastor is not challenged?
But you see, they challenge you because
Why?
you are a whole senator and people are looking up to you as a leader.
That's our translation. That's our translation. It's not what I meant. And tomorrow I will say the same. Okay? Kwekwale, 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 kwekwale. That's my slogan. So it is up to somebody to translate the way he wants or she wants. This lady, Maende, was told what to say. And if she has those allegations, why can't she go to court and sue me? And there were recordings of audio recordings. Why can't they
When you
take
when
that?
you say that kwekwale, what do you mean yourself? What would you like the public to understand you say?
What I mean is, I don't say it in Swahili. I address that to the people who understand what I say, and they know what I say, and I don't want
As
to
a
go
senator and as a Kenyan, what does it mean?
You know, you have slogans in leadership.
Yeah.
And that's my slogan. That's my slogan.
If you're insulting people without their knowledge.
Not at all. And then
And
you
you
should
claim
not
to be a
guess.
Christian.
You should not guess and then force it to be an abuse. You know, that is the problem. You should stop where it reaches. You know, when you are driving a car and you see a signboard, the signboard tells you to Mombasa is 500 kilometers. But the boat has never been there. It has never been there. So you cannot stand there and start asking the board, why are you not telling me to Mombasa is 500 kilometers? And yet you have never been there. Follow, and you'll find out. So they should wait and see, actually, if there will be anything to mean that there is an abusive. They should not predict and try to speak and put words in my mouth. That's wrong.
Just perhaps a response here, because Maende said if you continue on, she and others will mobilize all civil rights organizations and stage countrywide protests. You are a senator, and you're supposed to bring the whole
No, what
country
she should
together.
have said.
Yeah, I mean, what's
No,
your
let me tell
response
you
to that?
why they were annoyed about this. Not two sentiments. Let me be very open. There is what I said, very critical, and I don't know why they bended it. And what I said is this. President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was appointing his cabinet secretaries, he did not show respect to Lower Eastern people, because in his own native area, he never picked one politician, one who has been in politics. In his deputy president's area, whom they were consulting together, he never picked a former politician.
I beg your pardon, let me just cut you.
Meaning-
I understand,
Yeah,
I beg your pardon,
meaning-
I understand Machakos Governor, Dr. Alfred Mutua, is actually online and wants to respond to some of the things that you've spoken about. So can we kindly have that, please?
Yes, please.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, Kijang Babariako.
Salama
Sema.
kabisa. Please talk to us.
Mimi niko Mombasa. Tuko hapa kwa meeting ya National Land Commission with all the other 40, we are basically all the 47 governors. Kuongea,
Yes?
sorry to say that I'm not in South Africa, I'm here, I've not gone anywhere. Na ya kwamba sisi tunaendelea kufanya kazi. Our program is looking at the positives, what we can do for our people, how we can consolidate the command we have and push it, and not just dwelling on criticism and pulling each other down. I think that is what brought Kenya to the brink of civil war. What we want is people holding hands, working together, and being able to propel this country forward to a new and bright future, not the old school of just pull me down.
Perhaps, Daktari, if you can hear me, we have, of course, Senator here, Johnstone Muthama, and he says basically there are certain things that you're doing that are absolutely unprocedurable.
Well, I think I was in government for over 9 years, working in central government. I know how procedures work. How, when you're in government, the office of the president, you know the offices of, how procurement works, you know how things are set in place. I can assure you it is the work of the National Audit Department to come and audit the way we are doing things. We have followed procedures to the letter. That is something I learned from President Kibaki. Follow procedures. I learned from Ambassador Francis Muraura. So people need to realize that what you're doing is saving people's money. For example, whereas some people are buying cars at 9 to 10 million, one car. We bought cars for about 15 million. You get 10 cars for 15 million because we decided let's save the money so that we can actually push the money to provide services to 190. So people are just going out and yapping and talking about wastage, but we're not wasting money. So instead of spending 100 million to buy cars, we're spending 15 million. We saved the 85 million to serve 190 to get that clinic expanded so that our mothers can have better maternity care, to get ambulances to serve our people. That is the policies of Alfred Mutua. Let us save money. We are going to do some things that are going to be different. We are not going to waste money. We are not going to buy a spoon or a plate for 100 shillings. Whereas you can go to the supermarket and get it for 5 shillings.
What about those appointments?
Procedural, then let it be so. We are saving people money.
Right. Another issue that came up was the appointment to your
the executive,
to the county's executive committee.
You didn't advertise. It was unprocedural. You employed an Indian.
What do you mean it's unprocedural? It went through the parliament. It went through my county assembly. They approved it. We have the Hansard, the committee, the
Mr. Muthama says you didn't advertise.
Sat down, talked to these people. It was taken to the House. It was debated, a very hot debate. It was approved. We got a letter from the clerk of the assembly, which we used as the reason why we were able to gazette them. It was procedural. Nobody has gone to court. If it was not unprocedural, go to court and find out how it works. Some people are speaking without realizing what is happening because they don't take time to ask. They don't take time to actually find out because they're on a vendetta. They're on a campaign to pull down while the rest of the country is moving up and forward. And so if people are claiming it was unprocedural, let them bring the paperwork. Let them go to court. Let them go back to the county assembly. It was procedural. It could not have been gazetted if it was unprocedural. There are steps to be followed. As I said, I know how these things are done, and we are going to do it. We are off the block, the first county in Machakos, and we are going to keep on running and running to help our people come from poverty that has been the yoke in our necks for 50 years. We are not going to let any backward ideas pull us down.
Daktari, perhaps a final word as we wind up. There was even a comment here from one of the residents saying, what are you doing so that you work together as the people of Machakos County to take the county further? Because so far...
The other day, I have been talking to everybody in my county.
Including Mr. Muthama?
To Honorable Muthama. I wrote a letter to all my members of parliament, my county assembly, members of parliament just yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, all members of parliament, we sat down and structured how we are going to work together for Machakos. When I wrote a letter to Honorable Muthama, he said you're not able to come. We called him to come for the meeting. These people said they'll get back to us. He never showed up. All the other members have come. 9 members of parliament from Machakos, all of them, all the 40 county assembly members, all of them are working with me. So we're pulling together. And I asked Honorable Muthama, he's a very respectable man, please come join us. Let us hold hands together and propel our people from the yoke of poverty to where we're supposed to go. As Nelson Mandela said, and this is his birthday today, Nelson Mandela said the best way to move forward So we call upon Honorable Muthama, we respect him very much. Please come, hold hands, advise us, let us move together. That is what our desire
let's
for
hear
the
what
people of Machakos.
What do you say about that?
Thank you so much, Dr.
You know,
just a moment.
in my opening remarks,
Just a moment. Muthama
I
wants to reply
said
here.
good leaders are the
No, thank
ones
you.
who
Thank you very
accept challenges.
Good leaders?
Good leaders are the ones who accept and admit, actually, challenges and criticism. Are we together? I started by saying that. And I said I do not condemn those who are criticizing me, because it's their right to read of what I'm doing and come and say this is not right. I'm not going to criticize Mutua with what he has said, but what I'm saying is what I have noticed. And to say that he has invited me.
In fact, he is inviting
you know,
you.
I don't want to bring this debate.
He's inviting you
in
to go and
the
talk to him.
eyes of public. Of you called me, you did call me, you did no. I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said. I have no interest whatsoever to have anybody employed in Machakos. I have no interest whatsoever to be given anything in Machakos. I have no interest whatsoever to pull my brother Mutua from taking the count forward. See what is happening in many counties. Kiambu, up to now, they are yet, actually, to swear in, they are executive members. I read in the papers here, there are about 6 or 7 counties which names are being overturned. There is no allegations of you are pulling me down or you are trying to stop me from taking the count forward. It is the opinion of the people. And they do feel that this is not being done in the right way. And the governors are taking time to adjust and rectify. So what is so special with Machakos in issues being challenged? I mean, if we will have to have a democratic society in this republic of ours, you should not be just dictating things. But you criticize for the sake. Even if I'm backing, even if I'm dreaming, you should listen to me.
Do you criticize for the sake of criticism? He says everybody else is with him except you.
He says that.
That's
Then I must be crazy. Then I must be crazy.
In fact, if I may take you to what even Yatta Member of Parliament Francis Mwangangi said, that if you don't continue, they will actually come all the members of Parliament
and sack
in
me.
Machakos and deal with you.
And
so
sack me. You see, let me tell you this. True leaders, they don't fear going to jail standing for the truth. True leaders, they don't fear to be criticized and be abused standing for the truth. We have seen many sycophants in this country. Even when the changes were being pursued, others stood and said no. Up to today, there are people who do not accept that Kenya has changed to be a different country. They are in those days of waiting to say, His Excellency the President, we beg you. His Excellency to so and so, we beg you. So and so. No, we have left those days now. Those long gone periods are gone. Never again in the Kenyan eyes. So we are in a country where you stand and tell me, Honorable Muthama, please, the project you are implementing there in this area is not viable, and I stand to listen. I cannot stand and tell, I'm a leader, I've made my choice. No. So let us accept challenges and criticism so that we can move this country forward.
But there's no room for dialogue.
Definitely sure. Definitely sure. You see, like now, what my governor says, that is true. But where have you ever seen in the Republic of Kenya, according to the laid down rules, that a government institution truly can buy a used vehicle?
Okay. So perhaps
answer me. I will ask you a
a
question.
final word, because the people of Machakos are also listening, and you are leaders, and they want something that will actually take them to the next level. And of course, we have Daktari Alfred Mutua online. Just give us the final words, your final words in terms of moving forward as one team, the leaders of Machakos County.
Hello?
Hello, many thanks, and kindly give us your final words in terms of moving ahead as one team.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to say, first of all, it is good for people to be told the truth. There is no law against buying second-hand goods in East Kenya. There is a regulation. It's actually a policy under the Ministry of Public Works. If you look at the Government Act, it says that any county can decide how it's going to purchase goods. And so my cabinet sat and agreed, and the National Assembly, my National Assembly, approved, that is actually makes it law, the purchase of second-hand vehicles, such that if I have 10 million, instead of buying 3 ambulances, I can actually buy 5 ambulances for my people, so that our women are not carried by wheelbarrows to go to hospital. So when somebody says, where in Kenya has it be done, we are saying this is a new Kenya. This is why we have devolution. The way things used to be for the last 50 years have not brought us the development we want. We are going to do things. It is not business as usual. The old order is gone, the new order. About working together, I'm requesting Honorable Johnstone Muthama, wacha vita, vita iishe, tushikane mikono, tusonge mbele, tufanye kazi pamoja. There are children in our county who are sleeping hungry. There are young men and women who are eating miraa. They don't have a future. They are educated. There is not a single place they can get employment. Our fathers have given up hope. Our mothers wash with a cup of water. That is the level of poverty we have. We should not have any side shows. We should all move together. It should not be about Alfred Mutua, about Johnstone Muthama, about anybody. It should be about that poor child who slept hungry last night in Machakos. That should be our focus, to do God's work. We pull together, we will get where we are going to go. Me, I'm welcoming Honorable Muthama. Please come to my office in Machakos. I want to serve you lunch on Monday. Let us shake hands. Monday at 12:30, karibu, tukae chini, tuongee, tukumbatiane, tuseme lazima tusonge mbele pamoja kwa niaba yule mtoto wa Machakos amelala njaa jana. Umaskini tuondoe, tusonge mbele kama watu.
Thank you so much, Daktari. We totally appreciate. All the best. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much.
There are
Bless you.
things which you have been saying since the 1950s. The dream has been in every house in 2000 here, when we attained independence, we'll have tapped water. We went round and campaigning, and we gave all kinds of promises that we will tarmac roads, we will drill water. As you say, 50 years down the line, nothing has happened. We want to leave the areas of just talking and promising and get to serious business of doing actual things. This is the point here. Truly, we have seen officers, ministers being sacked because of failure to purchase anything, and purchase being done by failing to adhere to Public Procurement Act. Why should it be something just to be done in Machakos County? I mean, if we yes, and I will agree, although I don't think to invite me, he will do what he says now. That is public face.
I mean, he has given you an invitation on Monday
to tell me
for lunch.
I'm a leader, and I'm committed. To call me, to tell me through media, come at 12:30, I'll give you lunch.
He's basically saying, let's work together.
But
Are you taking that request?
If he's serious, do you know what he should be saying? I will invite you. I'll call you personally myself and invite you for a meeting.
Maybe he'll do that. Invited you on national
Come and
television.
sit down. But when he tells me, come on Monday, today is Thursday, come on Friday, come on Monday, 12. Anyway, I will take it. But let me put it this way. Public Procurement Act is something that must be followed, not only in Machakos, but in the whole Republic of Kenya. Because if officers are allowed to go on shopping free and do what they want, I mean, where will be control? How will you tell that vehicle was bought for 1 million shillings or 1.1 million shillings when there was no tendering process?
Right.
How will you prove that was the right cost?
All right. Many thanks indeed. Of course, talking to Johnstone Muthama. Absolutely, Dr. Alfred Mutua, thank you so
You
much.
could have invited her.
Machakos
Instead of alerting him to be on the phone,
When-
you could have
You
brought
must
him
have been
here.
watching.
Absolutely, it
You
was
know,
actually-
we are leaders. Don't expect us to go beyond the leadership levels. We will only talk about leadership, which I challenge even the top leadership in the country to make sure that Kenyans are served in the right way.
Absolutely. So it's been a good day. Of course, many thanks indeed for joining us here on the Power Breakfast Show. My name is Johnstone Muthama-Machakos.
And my name is Mteginjao, and there's another Johnson.
Absolutely.
Johnstone.
Johnstone.
Yes. Johnson.
This is Johnson.
In fact, I'm Johnson, but because
Oh,
I deal with stones,
Also, it was
I
John
put
Stone.
the stone at the end.
Johnson.
That's what I told
Thank you so much. Very well. All the best. See you
Johnson,
tomorrow as
Johnson.
God wills. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.